Good morning everyone, my name is Elshot. I think you hear the words of AI at least once a day. Actually, artificial intelligence is a kind of technology that can think, that can learn, and even make decisions, almost like a human. But can you imagine how artificial intelligence can be dangerous if it's not handled properly? Artificial intelligence influencing every kind of field. Education system is not an exception. It's changing the way we learn, the way we teach, and the way schools have to operate. This sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. With great power comes great responsibility. Artificial intelligence in education system brings more ethical concerns like data privacy, fairness, and the risk of depending on too much on machines. So in upcoming minutes, we're gonna get some answer for this important question. Artificial intelligence in education system should be regulated or not? Let's try dive into this with the help of our surveys.
The survey we conducted consists of 11 questions, 4 of which are for demographic purposes and the other 7 are the main question to be assessed later on. Our survey was answered by 20 students receiving tertiary education, primarily between the ages of 18 and 22 years old. 90% of them are locals and the other 10% are internationals. We had 7 male respondents and 13 female respondents. We had all of them rate their knowledge of AI in education on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. 15% of them rated their knowledge a 3, 65% rated a 4 and 20% rated a 5. The average being a 4 indicates that our survey responses are reliable.
First, we asked about should schools use personal data, including sensitive data of students, for AI-driven personalization to index whether they agree with that or not. So 30% of the respondents agreed that they are not against of this policy. 40% of the respondents were neutral, and 20% disagreed with this policy.
Next, we have asked what's the primary reason to regulate AI in our education. To identify the ethical proceedings, like 50% answered to get the student permission, and the others, like 15%, that answered to regulate AI in our education. Then the 10% to get to make sure the data managed in the same way in all the schools. The last one, the 25%, asked that the maximize the education benefit with the minimum risk.
Moving on, we asked, is it acceptable for AI to disadvantage some students if it benefits the majority, to test tolerance for unfair trade-offs? 65% of respondents at least somewhat disagreed, 20% were neutral, and 15% at least somewhat agreed.
Then, we also asked, how should AI be regulated to ensure accountability with a few options and allow respondents to choose more than one? This was to determine what major respondents deemed essential. We get about 70% respondents demanded full transparency of AI processes, 60% favored third-party audits, and 60% chose student complaints to be reviewed with human oversight. However, 40% also chose to minimize regulation if efficiency can be improved.
Next, we asked the respondents about the concerns about using AI in education. So, to highlight the key risks of using AI, 40% of the respondents said that they are worried about data leakage of using AI in education. 30% said that they are against for usage and this could not be secure. And 20% said that they want to be independent. And the other 10% had no concerns about using AI in education.
Finally, we asked who should regulate AI and what should they prioritize to openly in order to gauge opinions on who's best suited to be held responsible for regulating AI and what aspects should be highlighted. 35% of respondents said government, 25% wrote school, 5% said the collaboration, and another 5% said the individual parties. Unfortunately, 30% of respondents wasn't sure.
So, in a short, our survey showed that defining transparency and students' consent important when setting AI rules. And where is the most concrete about the data lakes and based in AI and evaluation of the students. And everyone either who support or felt naturally about AI regulation, and we can most of them believe it is a job of the schools and government to use the AI responsibly.
Now, let's continue with analyzing the necessity of regulation with references to ethical theories, which for this report focuses on utilitarianism and deontology. Let's first analyze the necessity of regulation through the lenses of utilitarianism. But before that, what is utilitarianism? Utilitarianism is an ethical theory that dictates every decision should bring about the greatest happiness for the greatest amount of people. It is a consequentialist theory, meaning it believes that the ends justifies the means. As such, for this report, we ask ourselves, does regulation maximize benefits while minimizing harm for students and educators? Following the utilitarian theory, we must consider the consequences of regulating AI in education and not regulating AI in education, and then calculating its utility. First off, we believe that both approaches offer comparable benefits. For example, enhanced learning outcomes for students through the usage of personalized learning platforms, and also in alleviating workload from the educators through the usage of automated AI processes. We do, however, acknowledge that unregulated AI may offer us different benefits such as lower development costs and more room for innovation. However, this only benefits the developers and not the students and educators, who are the main stakeholders and bear the consequential risk. As such, we believe that for this report, it is more productive to compare risk and harm instead of benefits. Initially, regulated AI may hinder innovation and increase development costs. However, these are only minor setbacks. Development of AI will still occur, just under a safer and slower pace, ensuring that there is comfortability for students and educators when integrating it. On the other hand, unregulated AI may offer short-term efficiency. However, this does not overshadow the fact that it may cause cumulative harm in the form of data leakage of students and also potential discrimination. This statement is backed by the survey conducted, in which 85% of respondents demanded regulation of AI due to the risk we mentioned before. In short, regulation of AI is not just practical, it's ethically necessary through the lenses of utilitarianism. It prevents widespread harm while preserving the educational benefits of AI.
Now, let's take a look at why AI regulation is important from the ontological perspective. Deontology is a belief that we must follow moral rules and duties, no matter how the consequences will be. Even sharing our basic personal information, such as photo, video, and our name, can lead to serious consequences. If we allow AI to be used without clear rules, we risk major problems. First of all, it could collect student data without consent, as well as it could use biased algorithms that create unfair results. And finally, it could rely on black box system that treat students like numbers, not real people. All of this go against our moral duty. So, from this ethical point of view, it's clear that regulating AI is a crucial step to do.
First, transparency is non-negotiable as demanded by 70% respondents. To achieve this, we propose 3 measures. First is explainable AI system, where developers must document algorithmic decisions making processes. For example, creating critical or recommendation logic and disclose all the data sources. Next, we propose third-party audits with independent experts conducting annual assessment for bias, accuracy, and fairness with its ability of 60% respondents. Last, we propose open communication channel, ensuring schools provide plain language guides to students and parents, explaining AI tools functionality and data usage. This measure align with both utilitarian and deontological principles. From utilitarians, they prevent long-term harms like mistrust or systemic errors while preserving AI's benefit. For deontology, they honor the duty to truth and autonomy by ensuring students understand how their data influences outcomes.
Second, AI is a big issue and a 30% people mention it. Why it matters? Reducing a base makes things fair for everyone. It will prevent futures and it is a support for best fairness and good outcomes.
Third point is to make sure everyone can use AI tools. One way to do this is by designing them to be easy for all students, including those with disabilities and language barriers. This means adding things like screen readers, support for different languages, or other ways to interact with AI tools. This idea works well for two big reasons. First is it helps students feel more included and learn better, which is really good for every student. And second one is it's right thing to do because everyone deserves a fair chance to learn better with the help of these AI tools.
Fourth, we should focus on informed consent. So, as 25% of the respondents, they say that there should be opt-in and opt-out rules. So, they could choose whether they want to use AI in education, in checking the exams, and if they choose, there should be availability to opt out in any time, and the availability to choose the teacher to check their tasks or exams. So from the first view, it avoids some consequences like mischecking from the AI and any consequence that may lead to the may lead against of the results of the students' data. But from the other view, it doesn't matter. Should we use AI, since it might be good or bad? In any case, we should not use AI, and this should be done with the hands of the mentors.